Welcome back to another episode of the Blitz Break. I'm your host, Phil Rasmussen, and we're back here on another Friday morning to join you, our audience, and share some stories, introduce a new guest, and have some conversations. Joined, as always, and after a week off doing God knows what on a cruise ship, legendary Texan, longtime mortgage veteran, Mr. Buzz Howard.
It was quite the experience, and I will say just one thing about cruises. Soft serve.
Soft serve.
The ice cream flows constantly. So I miss it. I have to tell you.
I was just glad you did not end up in a documentary on the different cruise documentaries I've watched where it was not such a great experience. So I was hoping it might happen because that would have been awesome. Man in jail. But no, it was a great time. I appreciated the time away and glad to be back, though. Yeah, we're not so glad you're back.
Well,
that said, I'm glad you had a good time.
The holidays are on the way. Now I know I need to get you a soft serve machine for your ice cream office.
I think that would be great for culture around here. Cultural update.
You could put cultured yogurt in
soft serve ice cream in the kitchen.
Buzz, where did you go?
We went on a 7 or 8 day cruise, just the Mexican Riviera, down to Cabo first, Mazatlan, and then ended up in Puerto Vallarta. And I'm going to tell you, I just had a good time on the ship. I've been to all those places so many times, but just being on the ship was a good time. We had a really nice room with a balcony and a great view, and it was nice.
Good.
Slept late every day.
Line, if you don't mind me asking.
What
cruise line?
Princess.
Okay.
Today's episode is brought to you by Princess.
Cruise Lines.
We're going to tag you. Make sure that
the love boat.
If you guys want to send us some cash, you're welcome.
What's really funny was that, of course, it's a new ship, but that was the original Love Boat. And when they leave port, the big horns play the Love Boat, dun dun dun, and it's really kind of funny, but it's a good time.
Did you catch that? This is it. I don't know how many episodes it's taken. I think this might be 13, but he just sang in the mic right now.
You did a little bit.
Did.
I sang. Later, I'm going to dance.
Oh, gosh.
Speaking of which, all right, back out from behind the camera, another mortgage veteran and sales leader, and forced to jump out from behind that lens I'm looking at right now and join the audience here to share stories. Justin Ingolia, welcome to this side of the camera, my friend, again.
That's right. Yeah,
it's the second time now.
Happy to be here. This might be third.
Second or third.
Yeah, you typically are the guy back filming.
That's right.
So, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm working really hard on flip-flopping you two, just so I don't have to deal with this every day. But
right.
But we'll get there. And today's guest, longtime credit industry veteran, someone who has a long track record of building relationships and helping mortgage companies figure out how to optimize all of their verification and credit reporting needs. Someone who I expect to hear a lot of interesting insights across the board from the credit and verifications component side of things, and a longtime professional, Tracie Panish. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You almost like you color coordinated. Julie likes the red-black combo, and you showed up today perfectly suited.
Followed her lead.
Well, we're excited to have you, and want to jump right in on nearly 20 years now handling on our end of things, one of the most important components, right, which is, for the borrowing audience, right, credit scores and verification services. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you landed in this space to begin with.
Thank you. Well, first of all, thanks again for allowing me the opportunity to be on your podcast. This is great.
You were a little nervous when I invited you.
I was a little nervous. I mean, camera on you for an hour. Yeah, there's a little nerve factor there.
She asked me to, what are you going to ask? And I have to get it bilingual. And she put up all sorts of roadblocks.
There's a lot happening in our industry, right, Buzz?
There is.
We're going to get to that.
Yes, we are. We're going to get into that. So I'll pay you later for that wonderful introduction. Thank you. 20 years now almost. 2007, I entered into the credit space. I did leave for a little while. I had a little hiatus in the MI space at Essent for 8 years. But previous to all of that, I was born in Southern Cal and moved to Silicon Valley at 2 years old. My father started an electronics business. So it was a contract manufacturing business. He started it at 36 years old. And he did really well. But unfortunately, he fell sick. So I wanted out of that industry because everybody knew him. And it really got hard to have everyone saying, how's your dad? And I was raised very Italian. My dad was Joe Spalero, a very Italian man. And the youngest of 4 kids, and I have 3 older brothers. So everyone always asked me how he was doing, how he was feeling. And there just came a point where I was just ready for a change. So I left selling electronic microchips and I came over to selling credit reports of all things.
The direct connection is uncanny, you know.
Right. It's been great. I've really enjoyed it. I love people, and I think that's really where it helps me a lot. Is I love to help others and really understand what their needs are. And credit being the first transaction to every file, you know, it's really important. It makes or breaks the deal.
Kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal.
Now you moved recently. You tell us about where you live and that.
Sure. Yeah. So I am what they call a helicopter mom. I have 4 children total, but 2 I have birthed. Talia is almost 23 now, and Dominic, he just turned 21. My stepdaughters are Tawny and Alyssa. They're still here in California, but we moved to Arizona to follow the kids, Talia and Dominic, off to college. They're both at ASU. Dominic is studying business communication, and he wants to be in our industry.
Now, that's the Longhorns, isn't it?
That is not the Longhorns. It's like pitchfork. Excuse me. Okay, we need to delete that part.
No, it's going to play.
Yeah.
So I've seen that you go to the games.
Forks up.
I see you go to the games with the kids.
Forks up. Yes.
Yeah.
We actually have
Sun Devils, right? That's
Sun
the
Devils. Yes. And my kids are graduating next year, both of them. So they just had us go to this last game that was played. It was really good. It was exciting. And we have a celebrity actually that came out of here that is now, I think, at the Giants, NFL Giants. He was Scattaboo.
Yeah.
Scattaboo, yeah.
That's right.
Now, talk about watching him play. That was fabulous last year, but he was picked up in this last draft, and I think he's on the Giants. Injured, unfortunately, at the moment.
he is.
Gnarly injury.
Yeah.
That's
Welcome
one of
to
the
the
ones.
NFL.
One of the
Welcome
ones
to
that I
the
like to
NFL.
replay for my wife over and over, and she's like, "Stop it!" And I'm like,
I know, poor guy, but he is just a little stud. Yeah, so it's fun to go to those games, and we're loving Arizona. We moved there just quickly. My husband, his job was able to transfer. He received a promotion, and then I can work remote because I travel mostly. So we picked up and just rented for a while to understand what Arizona was all about, since we've been in California our whole lives. And we obviously picked Scottsdale, which was a nice area. But when after a year, we decided to buy, we just wanted to look around, and there's a new place that's actually really exploding up there in Arizona. It's North Phoenix, and it's because there's a microchip plant. If you haven't heard of it, the Taiwanese semiconductor chip plant is big. It's huge. It's a big deal. Biden's been out there. Trump has been out there, and it's exploding. So I was hopeful that our house will get a lot of equity over time, like another Silicon Valley event. So we bought there, been there almost a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look at it, it came full circle to microchips.
Right? Yeah.
Look at that.
I know.
They keep following you.
I was
Dragging
raised
you
on
back in.
electronics. Yes. A lot of my friends are still in the Silicon Valley.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, Phoenix, it's a dry heat.
it is. And those summers are very brutal. But I will tell you that right now is the best time to be.
Yeah.
in
This is the
Arizona.
time. I've opened branches there, spent lots of time there, but I'm absolutely vividly in a memory of the first time I decided to go out there to visit a branch in a full suit in July. And I got off
Big
the
mistake.
plane and I'm like, what am I doing? It's like 118 and it feels like an oven out here. And even the air conditioning in the car isn't enough to help save
Yeah.
this situation. But October through about March. It is
Gorgeous.
incredible.
And it's golf mecca. My son is a huge golfer. When COVID hit, he was somewhat of an introvert and the youngest out of all of his like guy friends. And so he just would go to the Wood Creek Golf out here every day and he'd hit at the range. And I tell you, he got a scholarship. He got 2 scholarship offers. He got one at William Jessup in Rockland.
Yeah.
And then he got one at, I want to say it's Cobalt. It's another Christian university in Oregon. And so we visited both, but, he loves God and all, but he said, Mom, I want a different experience. So of course he picked ASU. Party school.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it's been fun. It's been a great transition for us. I'm hopeful that someday we have a second home in the summer. That's my ultimate dream.
Absolutely.
Somewhere
Get out of there in
Somewhere
the summer.
by some water
It's hot.
by the coast. Yeah.
Yeah,
Get some
it's-
fog in June
hot.
or July.
Yes. Oh, you
So-
have to have a pool.
So for those who don't necessarily know you or kind of the overall backstory, talk a little bit about what your day-to-day looks like and your role and what you do that, kind of connects the dots for, the mortgage industry as a whole.
Sure. So my role today is as a national account executive for Partners Credit. I am essentially responsible for the accounts, managing them that I have brought on or that have been given to me over the years, and responsible for making sure that they receive their pricing, that we talk through pricing. When there is a question about things, responsible for making sure they're set up properly, that those branches and loan officers receive the necessary training for credit, making sure that I am sharing insights as the industry changes, giving you guys fair warning of what those things look like and how they will impact you. And that's been my role for some time now, but we're growing as a company. We're merging with Advantage Credit, and we've acquired ARC, which is American reporting company out of the Pacific Northwest. We've also acquired Advanced Data. And there's some other things, that they're looking at. But what that does for us is that makes us up higher on the tier level with the bureaus for volume purposes. But it also makes us, I want to say, the 5th top largest credit reporting agency out there in the nation today. And we cover the entire nation. We don't have a lot of sales folks historically, but now we're really growing that. And again, moving forward, we were given the opportunity with the merger to change our roles. So it was, do you want to still manage your accounts, or do you want to be a regional director and go out there and find new business? And I love people so much that I picked the regional, except I kept American Pacific Mortgage because I'm not giving up American Pacific Mortgage. I mean, there's so many people at APM that are near and dear to my heart, and so it's like family. But so my role will look a little different. I will do the same things for you guys, making sure that you have what you need and being your go-to for pricing. But also, I will be out on the road a lot, and I've done that most recently with traveling to all the conferences, going to the annual conference, going to the Western Secondary, going to all those different conferences to get, in front of folks and then bring on new business and grow our brand. So we are coming out with a new name. It's not public yet, but you'll see that at some point, hopefully the first or second quarter. And it'll be very similar to what it is today, but so nothing to be concerned about.
So for our audience, besides credit reports, you guys have a lot of different services that you provide mortgage companies.
Right.
So what would that be?
So obviously, as you know, we're the credit report, so that's the first transaction to every file. But if you could think of it as everything that it takes to qualify a borrower, essentially, except for like the title and all of that. So we do the verification of employment, and we have several services, between the work number, we do the manuals, a lot of different options there, a lot of consumer-facing versions, but historically, sometimes loan officers do not want their borrowers to utilize those services that require more work on their borrower's part, but we do have those. We also do the tax verification. We also do AVMs, appraisals, Social Security verification. We have fraud product, which we've built out with PitchPoint, which is a really nice product. We also have, oh gosh, what else am I forgetting? Flood. So we have flood certs that we do. So if you could think of it as, again, just a package deal to help you as a lender with all those services. And it's helpful working with your credit reporting agency that does offer a lot of those services, because we can reduce costs on those services. The more services you use from us, it helps us reduce the overall package for you. So yeah, we're about 12 products, I want to say.
Wow.
We could be a one standalone, just the credit report. We can also be just the tax verification, whatever you're looking to do. The other nice thing too about partners is historically we've owned our own technology. So we've built a lot of things based on our customers' demands and requests. When the market changes, we're able to pivot and ask our tech team, can we build this out? And sometimes it's a lengthy process, but we've built a lot of things customized what APM has requested over the years and our other clients. Things such as, like a letter of explanation. We call that a BVR, a borrower verification report. That's available for all of you today at no cost. And what it does essentially, by clicking on an electronic link in your credit report, it allows you to send those items to your borrower in electronic format that they need to give you an explanation for. And then they can send it back to you. And it gives the lines below the trade line so that they can comment and then give it back to you, instead of you having to get on the phone and say, explain this derogatory item to me. Why do you have all of this? So it's things like that that have really helped us set ourselves apart.
One of the cool tools that has developed over the years, and everybody calls this something different, like the what if simulator. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about that, where a loan officer can go in and take a look at it and say, well, yes, this is what your credit scores look like right now, but if you did this, this, and this, your credit scores could be better.
Yeah. So absolutely. So that's the FICO simulator tools. So Credit Expert has been known in the industry for a while with that. And essentially the way that works is we have a variety of tools from them. The first one I'll call Credit Assure. That's the name of the cover sheet that comes with every credit report you pull. So that helps originators kind of as a counseling to them to help their borrowers say, look, this is where your scores are today, but there's potential based on this. Now, on that cover sheet, you do pay a cost once you click on that score improvement option that it gives you as a loan officer. If you click on that, it'll say you're about to accrue a charge of such and such. Would you like to proceed? Yes. And then it'll pull out that action that you can counsel your borrower with. So that's the Credit Expert features. They have the Wayfinder, which will tell you what actions it suggests. And then there's also the what if. So if you've already had a conversation with your borrower, you know that they've paid down that Chase credit card. It says $5,000 on their credit report, but they've paid it down to $1,000. You know that's going to help them. So you say, what if this borrower? You go in and you drive that tool a little bit, and it'll return to you those scores. Now, everything's not perfection, right? And it tells you that. There's that disclaimer that says, it's not exact, but it's very high in response or the return of the data in those methods. It's all the algorithms behind the technology of all those solutions. Now, Credit Expert, they took theirs internal over the last year. And what I mean by that is they took their software. You have to sign up with them directly now. So it's a little more costly. And FICO came out with theirs recently. They have one that's pretty slick. So did Score Navigator. So there's other options. Our credit reports work with all of them, but you have options out there. If you're in a situation and you want to go direct with your credit reporting agency, you could choose one of the two I just mentioned, or you can go direct to Credit Expert and sign up a contract with them. but all of them work as tools for you to guide your borrowers. And that's really what we need in our industry. So many moving parts.
A lot of times we run into borrowers that have multiple credit issues. And we know that there are credit repair groups out there. Some are we want to stay away from, some that do a really good job with credit counseling and those types of things. Without getting you into trouble, what do you think about those kinds of services that we could refer our borrowers to?
Yeah, I mean, they serve their purpose, right? We're not allowed to partake in that with our contracts with the bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Yeah, I don't want to get in too much trouble on that topic, but I do think they serve their purpose, and I've had friends that have used them and have been successful, but we're not allowed to be a part of credit repair.
So what are some of the biggest changes, recent developments, things that are happening right now that would be relevant to, borrowers? There's certainly a lot going on around credit score modeling and different components. Talk to us a little bit about kind of what's happening on that end, maybe how it affects your business and your views on kind of what's coming down, all the way through the pike, so to speak, as far as, ground level to borrowers.
Right, sure. Well, there's been a few things over the past year that have helped borrowers with regards to like medical debt. Those medical debts are not weighing as hard on your credit. Some of them, I think anything under 500 is not even going to show up on your credit. So those are helpful to borrowers. I'm not sure that there's a whole lot more that is helpful to borrowers other than what a loan officer can do on those tools and helping guide them. And then, I will say though, the annualcreditreport.com, after COVID, the bureaus allow you to pull one credit report a year per bureau to manage and monitor your credit. I mean, we all know that things are not cheap anymore and it's not getting any easier. So I would highly suggest that you're pulling those and you're looking at your own credit reports, making sure there's no fraud, that things are, really real, because it's impacting you. And our score is everything to us. It helps us get a home, a car.
That's right.
Credit card, our daily lives. So annualcreditreport.com is huge. I would definitely, as a borrower, monitor that.
So lately, we've seen the rise of a new credit scoring model, Vantage Score. And it's been a big competitor that's in the wings to FICO. Can you tell us a little bit about the differences? What's the difference between a Vantage Score and a FICO?
Sure. So FICO obviously is Fair Isaac Company.
Right.
Right. And they initially created all the scoring models for the bureaus. Right. And that's what we use today. And we haven't changed those models in years. They're pretty archaic, to be honest. So the bureaus came out with their own model and they're labeling it Vantage Score. Vantage 4.0 is the latest one you're hearing about. And that one is approved by the agencies, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, but there's no guidelines to lenders today on how to implement it. There's a lot of work that still has to be done.
Or even accessibility to the automated underwriting systems of Loan Prospector and Desktop Underwriter.
Right. So, yeah, there's still a lot of work to be done. But what I will say to that is that, obviously every year we experience rate increases. Over the past 2 years, we experienced FICO raising rates. And I think that all kind of took us back a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's been going on for a long time with the bureaus. It was always, very minimal. We've seen it trickle up a lot. And I will say 2026 is not going to fare well for all of us as far as pricing. It's going to be tough. So it really is going to come down to, finding ways to set yourself apart as a lender, and then working with your credit reporting agency to find ways to bundle services, to help create just consultative approaches on the way you're doing your business. So you might be pulling soft pulls today because of trigger leads. You know, this last year was awful. Your borrowers were complaining. You pulled my credit and I got 50 calls within an hour. Well, then there was that one law that they were trying to get passed, and then it didn't pass. And then another one came through and they passed it. So Trump signed off on that. And as of March, you're not going to feel the pain of trigger leads. So do you really need to pull the soft pulls? Well, the bureaus are keeping all of this in mind. And that's why rates are going up a little bit higher. They have to consider their losses as well, of where they're going to, have a loss.
Well, that's a great point. Any kind of increases probably is due to the fact that they can't sell those trigger leads on the back anymore, because that's what they were doing. TransUnion would take and sell all those somebody pulled a credit report and you could get access to that and give them a call.
Right.
And so now they're not going to have that revenue stream. So they're probably looking for a way to recover that.
That and, the soft pulls were another way to, just kind of maybe do a lower cost piece to it. And we saw last year that the soft pulls were increased to the same rate as a hard pull.
Yeah.
And then if you're pulling a soft pull and you're doing the agency program for that underwrite, where you can use a soft pull to underwrite it through the file.
Right.
You still have to pull a hard pull on the back end. So that's a double cost.
Which then increased your expenses.
So, and then you have other companies for other product offerings that you need to use to qualify a borrower for a home loan that have also increased their rates. So it's just a double whammy, and it's hard on you guys. And we understand that. So we really want to be your trusted advisor and sit down and look at your manufacturing process and look at your buying habits on those invoices and make suggestions. Like, maybe you don't need to do the soft pull if the trigger leads are going away, because then you don't have to pull that hard pull on the back end.
Right.
But for your loan quality initiative requirement, you have to pull a soft pull on the back end historically. So there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things to talk about and look at.
On the Vantage score, just do you think that there's going to be an adoption to the Vantage score?
I do. I do.
Once those guidelines kind of become more transparent.
Right. And I think that with the pricing increases, there might be a push to get that done sooner than later, to be honest with you.
Sure.
I can't say for sure.
Right.
But right now we're thinking probably not until second quarter of next year for Vantage score. Unless the pricing increases push quicker, right?
Does the score I don't know. Does the score work similar to FICO where it's like a 780 model, or is it totally different?
It's different. It takes into more the trended data. So again, the trended data is trending. How did you trend on your history past 24 months of paying your debt? It really focuses in on that. So that's what Vantage score is really kind of encompassed to do. Vantage score is also encompassed to really look at more of a thin file. So maybe a borrower that has only had a month worth of scoring, they can't qualify. They don't have enough history. That weighs on their credit. That's one of those factors. So Vantage score helps with that. But then also FICO is coming out with their scoring model in itself. That one, we're not sure. That's not approved by the agencies yet, Fannie and Freddie. So we don't know how long that's going to take. But that's really going to look more at, are you paying your credit cards down to that utilization level to show that you're not so much of a risk? If you're having patterns where every month, let's say you started out your credit card, you're 30% utilization, then the next month you're 50% utilizing that credit card, then you're at 60, that's going to weigh on you. But also this FICO model's looking at, if you're paying down to that low, they're going to reward you. So it's going to be a discussion that lenders have to have, and which one are we going to use? And then there was the talk about the buy merge. Can we just use two bureaus? And that's been, from what we understand, put on hold. So,
well, the nice thing about Vantage score is it's one score. Whereas FICO created models. They created a model for TransUnion. They created a model for Experian, and so forth. So you had to have 3 credit scores, and you took, the middle score, whatever the case is. Whereas Vantage Score pulls data from all 3 bureaus because the bureaus own Vantage Score
Created Vantage
and
Score.
create one score across it. They also look at more, because what a credit score is a comparison of you to other borrowers and their outcomes. And so Vantage Score looks at it over a larger sampling of people than the individual FICO models with each of the bureaus. Right. So a lot of people are liking it that it's just one score over a larger sampling. They think they think it will fare much better over the long term than the individual FICO models.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of arguments on that altogether.
Right. And,
So-
they're available today for you to stack up against what you're seeing. But it does come down to the history that's weighed into your score. Will Vantage Score have that history on this new model? So how does that all play out? There's still a lot of work to be done.
So, going back to the old days when we took loan applications on stone tablets.
Facts.
Well, when I first started in the industry, believe it or not, we used to call up and order our credit reports.
Yeah.
And we had someone that had to stay on the line, because
He's exaggerating. He actually had to send an actual Postmates
telegraph.
person
Smoke signal.
for telegraph and
the cruise ship.
personal delivery.
So we had to get on the phone and order them, and they would mail the credit reports to us.
Isn't that
I remember
crazy?
it,
we
man.
would get,
I remember
I
it.
know.
we would get the credit report 2-3 days, whatever the mail, 2, 3, 4 days later. It was awesome when we finally got a dot matrix printer. But the reason why I bring this up is as these expenses continue to rise over the years, what we just fell into with computers and all this easy access, credit reports were only like $15.
They were.
So as a loan officer, it's like, don't even worry about the cost of the credit report. Let's pull it so we have all the data. And we would do our pre-quals, everything. And most companies would just eat that cost.
Right. And that's too much of a cost to eat now for you guys.
Now, taking into consideration, what is it going to go to in 2026?
Like a
$200 for a credit report? Who knows?
Yeah.
So we will no longer be able to just willy-nilly order those, because from a P&L standpoint for a company, if you're just giving away 200 to here to, it's not like Oprah, you get a car and
Right.
It starts being a major problem for a company.
Right.
And so
It's a huge expense.
It is
So
a huge expense.
it's either going to be, we need your credit card so we can order these credit reports, which is going to be tough on a lot of borrowers, especially if they're thinking, I'm not going to buy right now. I just want to get pre-approved, kind of figure out what's going on. And then after the turn of the new year, maybe we'll look. Well, those people are going to want to flop down their credit card.
Yeah.
So it's going to go back to a lot of what we used to do of just asking people about their, tell me about your credit. Do you have any problems? Any bankruptcies? Any collections? And you just hope that what they're telling you is the truth. So what do you think is going to be a major tool for a loan officer or a company, let's say, to utilize in this pre-approval, pre-qualification stage?
I would have to say annualcreditreport.com.
Oh,
Because
okay.
those are free credit reports.
Okay.
And you get one bureau. I think it's like every quarter. I don't know what the latest is. After COVID, it was like every month so we could monitor our data. But I would suggest looking at that because, and then telling your borrowers how much it costs today. Things have changed. It's a lot for a credit report now. So before I pull your credit, or let them know, full transparency. Would you be open to paying for your credit report? It also gets some skin in the game with them, and they're going to stick with you. You know, they're
not going to want to do a whole bunch of $200, credit reports.
Credit reports, yeah. And I know a lot of borrowers will say, well, so-and-so over there is paying for my credit report. Okay, well, we can have that conversation and talk through that. But I want to be honest and open with you. It's not the old days. Things have changed. Everything has gone up, as you know. And I want to work with you. But I would suggest pulling annualcreditreport.com and taking a look and seeing if there's those bankruptcies that are going to impact. Why would you want to pull a credit report if they have bankruptcies and charge-offs? You're not going to, chances are, be able to qualify them. So there's $200
when
off
they
your
go
books.
to annualcreditreport.com, sponsored by.
Yeah.
You can print, right? You can print whatever the report is and hand it to your loan officer.
It's not as pretty as a regular credit report, but you get the detail. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do that all the time. I monitor. I do the optout.gov because of the trigger leads.
Yeah,
That's
we're really talking
helpful.
print, more like save a copy and send it digitally, Buzz.
Yes.
Handing a printed paper
Yeah, he's
copy.
like,
Wow,
can I fax that to my loan
Wow, you
Yeah,
can
let
do
me
that?
get the fax machine out.
You could do that
and
now?
USPS mail it.
I will say I will say it was funny. We had somebody come and ask. They had to fax something. And they're like, "Do we have fax machines?" And I'm like, "No, it's all e-fax. You know,
Right.
It's just like scanning." But it was like, wow, who's asking for a fax? It was a government agency actually that needed a fax. But it was a fax.
There's our government for you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting how our industry is somewhat cyclical. How things kind of do come back a little bit, though, you know?
Yeah.
And having to have those conversations and, and AI is another good thing to consider in your conversations. I know with our company, they've rolled out, we have the Salesforce CRM, and they've rolled out Copilot.
Yeah.
And Copilot is an AI option to help you with your talk track this is what I'm experiencing with this customer. This is what they're experiencing, in their world. How would you suggest that I communicate with them? So I think AI is a powerful tool if used properly.
Without a doubt, we talk about that a lot here. So, and we've had to do many a therapy session for this guy on.
He's using it though.
He's there.
Yeah.
We're going to have a success story at some point with him. But so tell us a little bit. How do you use it personally? I mean, we talked a little bit before the show about your Chat GPT usage, but give us kind of an inside look at how you're leveraging it today.
Yeah, it's so funny because when that came out, I thought, oh gosh, the robots are taking over the world now. We're going to be like that old cartoon, the Jeffersons or the Jetsons.
Jetsons.
And we're going to be on little.
Jeffersons was a different show.
Yeah, different show.
Yeah.
Now I'm showing my.
They're moving on up.
Age. I'm
Equally
showing
They're moving
my
on
age.
up, but
Yeah, we're going to be on spaceships going to work. And then my kids would say, "Oh, Mom, we can't use that in college. I mean, there's like cameras everywhere, and they watch for that stuff." So I got a little bit of a scare tactic from it. But as it's evolved, in all these conferences that I've mentioned that I'm going to, that is the number one topic, AI.
Really?
And it is so interesting. So I've really adopted it. I've got my husband using it. I don't say too much to my children. I want them to learn through, college a little bit, but I use it a lot. I even use it for workouts. If I'm on the road, and I say, give me a good little cardio workout. This is the gym equipment in the hotel room, blah, blah, blah. And it'll shoot out just what to do. Tell me how many reps. And it's good stuff. I like it. And I've even named mine. It's funny. Our chief operations officer, Tracy King, she told me she named hers. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to name mine. So yeah.
What's the name?
Gianna. So as I mentioned,
But you're not talking to her.
I do talk to her.
Oh.
I voice talk to her. Tell me.
But she doesn't talk back to you?
No, I haven't experienced the voice yet.
You haven't gone into voice mode?
I have not gone
It's a lot
into
of fun.
voice mode.
It'll ruin it for you because then you won't want to type ever again because you can just sit there and have the
But
conversation.
I worry because when I do a lot of voiceover it takes the words and creates different stuff.
Yeah, sometimes.
And then I'll send it in a hurry. You know, if someone's trying to get a hold of me and I'm like, I'm busy working. And then what was that you said, Tracy?
Yeah.
Oops. So I'm very careful.
Yeah.
But
because when they take over, they're going to use that against you.
yes.
That's right.
And they say that AI, you're putting in data that it's going to build your character for you. And it's like your book, right? So I'm careful with that, but I'll have to try it. And I'll have to put some maybe accent on it.
I don't want to get away from the AI piece, but there was something that you had touched on, and it's now come up twice. And I want to just hear some of your insight. Is all these conferences? Yeah. They're all within lending. I'm sure, or just at least in the real estate side of things. But what is there anything common other like AI? That was a huge insight. That's going to be a topic that's going to be like number one. Is there anything else that you have seen? Because you have such a unique perspective, being able to go in and be a part of these conferences and hearing what different entities and companies are doing and thinking,
It's the Vantage Score and FICO 10T.
Yeah.
When are those coming? How come we haven't rolled them out?
Yeah.
We need that kind of those topics.
Sure.
Those are the breakout sessions that I normally sit in because I'm a credit person.
Right.
But yeah, I would say
AI being
number one.
Yeah.
Right now.
It was part of our symposium. It was huge. So yeah, absolutely.
And the economy, giving everybody
Market.
sort of a comfortable sense, like just keep at what you're doing, be strong, stay focused. You got this.
Yeah.
You got this, it's weather the storm, fasten your seatbelt, but we can do this. We've done it before and we're going to do it again.
Sure.
But you have to get creative like this. Get on camera. I hate doing camera, to be honest with you. Like I sound silly or I look silly and, but it is what it is. You just, engage it. If you want to succeed, you've got to do it. And you've got to just stay focused and in front of it.
We have to sell it to our loan officers and referral partners at times too. And the funniest common thing is always, I don't like how I look. And it's like, hate to break it to you, it's only news to you.
That's what you look like. That's what everyone says.
Have you looked in the mirror?
This is exactly what you look like. Just accept it.
Well, the beautiful side of it is, look, everyone likes you already. Yeah. And you're just, it's becoming new to you that you sound like that and you look at that. But everyone already enjoys working with you, likes looking at your face and seeing you. So just it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Well, they
like
say
Nike
that the
said.
camera adds 75 pounds.
Yeah.
So
that's the problem I'm having
right now.
That's
what I'm hoping is that.
Oh, you know what?
Especially after the soft serve for a week.
Yeah. Poor Phil's a stiff breeze and we lose him.
I will say that all of those things are very true, but it's also the pressure that I think people feel to have something very, like earth shattering to say sometimes, and people don't always recognize that it's not that people are looking for. They're actually just looking to connect with the person and understand, where you're coming from or what it is that you have to say that's interesting, or a nugget of value or a tip or a trick. There's so many elements to it that, get in the way a lot of times. And, I repeatedly tell people, look, I'm the best person to speak to it because I went through all those same things, like all the reasons, all the criticisms. I've been through that. I still go through it, but it doesn't. If it stops you, you're missing the bigger point of why we're doing it.
Yeah.
It's not like if you want to be a media star, if you want to be, a host of a TV show on like network television, then you have a totally different lens that maybe you're aspiring to achieve. But if that's not your goal, then you don't need to hold yourself to a standard like that.
Right.
And by the way, people don't actually want to see that to begin with. So I think it's interesting, and listening to you talk a lot about all the nuances with it. What do you think is one of the most common misconceptions about credit in the industry? Like what are one of the things that, like, whether it's companies that are managing the business or borrowers, people in general about credit scores, what do you see most often that is like, wow, I can't believe people thought that or assumed that?
I think what is most interesting is that people don't really know what goes into that breakdown of what's calculating your score from behind the scene. They just think that it's just a bunch of data. But if they really knew what those like 5 categories are on that pie chart, they might pay a little more attention. And, obviously everyone, late payments, we all know that late payments are going to impact us, right? 30-day late, that's probably the hardest, next to obviously bankruptcies and all those really hard ones. But paying attention to utilization. And I know that it's all over the news right now. Everybody's credit card debt is extremely high. HELOCs are a huge way to go, right?
We're at the all-time history high at, what is it, $1.3 trillion,
Right.
or is it 1.8 trillion?
Right. It's just scary.
It's
scary. So
horrible.
Having more insight into that, and don't just close out accounts, because length of history is a part of that. They want to see
That's right.
that you can manage credit, your ability to repay it. So managing credit, like you've had it for 20 years, you're not just opening and closing constantly credit cards to get the best rate and you're thinking that that's the way to go. No. You want to hold on to that credit card, keep it at its lowest as much as you can. I mean, if you're obviously working towards a high FICO, right? Those are the things you want to do. But that history is huge. I don't think a lot of borrowers realize that. They'll just close out credit cards, or when you go into, a department store and they say, well, we'll give you 20% off if you open up a credit card today. Well, that's an inquiry. An inquiry.
And new credit.
And as new credit on your credit report, those last for 2 years. And you start looking like you're a heavy shopper if you get too many inquiries, right? So I think just for borrowers, just understanding the dynamics of what is in a credit score. And that's so easy. They could just look it up. They could chat GPT it.
Yeah.
What's in a credit scoring model? Tell me what to tell my borrowers. That's easy peasy. And that would be a great marketing piece to put out there too, to your folks and your real estate agents.
So what are those 5 buckets? Just like if you mentioned them, but just to provide a bullet
Color,
point 5 list.
cut, clarity. Wait, totally wrong bucket. I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought we were talking diamonds.
No, let's see if I can remember them off the top of my head. So on-time payment history, that's like 35%, 45% of your credit score. Length of history. Mix. Did you know they want to see
Yes,
that
they
you
do.
can manage a car, a credit card, and a home loan? You're going to get a better return on your score for that. So we got the mix. Utilization. And I'm forgetting one. I think it's the inquiries. I don't remember off the top of my head. Sorry.
I believe it's new credit.
Yeah, the inquiries.
The inquiries is one of them. That's the 5.
That's 5.
Yeah. So that's all. And like you said earlier, we're all kind of in different buckets in those scoring models. It's an interesting concept how they built them.
Sure.
But, just knowing where you stand, pull that annualcreditreport.com. Make sure you don't have silly things weighing you down that really aren't yours. I imagine, unfortunately, with the way the market is, fraud is going to be on the rise again.
Oh my gosh.
It's the holidays.
Talking about that, so I get made fun of a lot. I don't.
So do I. So it's okay.
I don't.
Mainly by him. Mainly by
you too.
I don't know if that's true.
So I don't have my paychecks direct deposit.
I do make fun of that.
I don't have anything that's auto pay. I don't have one of the what's the card that you can just get money out of the
debit card.
A debit card.
Really?
I don't
just
have.
asked that
You
question.
are old school.
I have.
He doesn't call them ATMs. He calls them automated teller machines.
Do you have a beeper? I have to know. Do you have a beeper?
I still use my beeper. What?
Yeah.
Like
No.
what?
So I had identity theft.
Yeah.
2 or 3 times. I used to travel, and I came home one after a week-long trip, and I'd actually taken the shuttle to the airport, right, and back. And I always entered my house through the garage. I came home, got out of the shuttle, went up to the garage, hit the access code. I didn't know that, and walked through the garage. Didn't notice that my car was gone. and went into the house and I started putting my stuff away, and I was going, my TV is gone. And I started looking around. I'm going, wait a minute. And I opened the door to the garage, and I was going, my car is gone. Oh, so they had spent 2 or 3 days at my house and had gone through all of my finances. They had taken my checkbook, and instead of taking the checkbook, they took like every 5th check. So that you wouldn't. When I made the first initial police report, they asked me, well, is your check report here, or your checkbook here? And yep, it's here. So that wasn't part of the initial report. So there was all sorts of things. Literally, I chased that for 2 or 3 years because they had my social security number. They had everything. They had access to my bank accounts. It was horrible. So I am seriously locked down. I'm opt out of everything. There's no access to my credit. It's got all of the
How
credit.
do you qualify?
I haven't bought a house in how long have I been? 14 years.
Okay.
And so I had to unlock everything, run the credit report.
Right.
So are there? And I say this because I've gotten used to this. I still write a check for my SMUD bill or whatever the case is. I'm okay with it. I still like to go to the bank and cash my check. Are there systems that your company has or out there that you know of for when someone has gotten into a identity theft issue?
Well, we have a fraud product that we offer. It's we call it FIT. So it's our fraud investigation tool. And it's very interactive. It has scores and whatnot, clearing tools where you can clear everybody that's associated with the file, the appraiser, the title rep, all that, just to keep a good feel for that file and for that
and so if someone runs their credit report and all of a sudden they're going, that's not me,
right,
they can use this tool?
Well, they can use the tools and dispute it within the credit report, right? And everything's interactive. You can go right into that trade line on our system and dispute it. But the fraud product is more as a whole, looking at the package and the transparency of all the people involved in that transaction. But yeah, you could dispute, but there's not really anything that I can think of that would, other than freezing your credit, right?
That's what I was going to ask you.
Get that, just freeze it.
Do you notice that is there a break in reporting? Not reporting as far as like utilization and things like that, but does it affect your credit when you actually have the bureaus locked down? Yeah.
Mm-mm. No.
I think it mostly just creates headaches.
Yeah. I know it does slow down.
Dealing with anything else in your world where like anything that you might have as an active account. I've seen this with several, family members at different points where literally something very simple becomes a headache because their accounts are frozen and then they have to go through the process to unwind that and unfreeze.
Well, I've gotten really good at it. I mean, you have a code.
Yeah, I was just going to say, don't forget to write down that code.
You go, that's exactly right. And it expires after, I think, 2 years. Every 2 years it expires and your credit becomes accessible again. But there is a code. You go to the website, like Experian, and you put in the code and it unlocks it. And then you go to TransUnion and it unlocks it. And then you run a credit report so that, and then you can lock it back down.
Yeah.
And this has been how I've run my life for a long. I even didn't have mail delivered to my house for probably 10 years. I took a box, and so that, because I even had people stealing mail out of my mailboxes and getting.
Where do you live?
Well, now
I live
downtown Texas. I live downtown Sacramento.
Yeah.
Right in Midtown, but
I don't think it matters anymore.
It doesn't matter
look
anymore.
At some of the stars, the football players who have dealt with break-ins and scary.
Yeah,
it's a scary.
So it is a hassle though, and I get made fun of all the time because today was payday, and so they had to come and bring me a check, and everybody in the whole office goes, "What is that?" I'm going, "It's a check you get." Really? You don't have direct deposit?
So you go actually to the bank, or do you do the mobile app deposit?
Oh, absolutely not. Okay. Nothing online.
I was going to say, do you think he's downloaded his
Absolutely not. I go and I check every time I check.
You know
you can see why ChatGPT has been a therapy session.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, oh my God, I can't do it. It's scary.
He has his favorite tellers, I'm sure. He goes,
yeah.
Sure.
They all know him.
They know me.
So you plan around holidays because banking hours are...
Well, and the thing is, and I won't mention my bank, but they had been so fantastic. It's the reason why I've banked there for almost 40 years, because they caught every single check, and they caught every single. And remember, I didn't put it in my police report, so I didn't notify my bank. And after that big theft, the bank started calling me and going, "Hey, this doesn't look like your signature. Is this?" Wow. And I'd go, "What are you talking about?" And they'd say, "Well, check number 77 to this. Is this you?" And I'd go, "No, I don't even know what that is." And they'd say, "Well, we caught it." And I'd go down and I'd look at it. It's sure enough. And that's how I found out that they took every fifth check instead of just taking the whole checkbook.
Oh, really?
What was the largest check they tried to write?
5,000.
5,000?
Wow.
It was
That's awful.
My bank caught everything. My credit cards caught everything. Of course, I notified my credit card carriers, but I had a really good experience on that side of it. But literally, I'd have cable bills. People, they must have sold my information. 3 different cable companies where I actually would get on my credit report because it started going in collections. I'd find the address and where it was. I would show up at their house and knock on their door and would take pictures of everything and the people and their addresses.
This sounds like a movie.
I was going to say, at what point, how many years in before you finally acknowledged that you just misplaced everything and it wasn't actually stolen?
Yeah. Oh, there's where my car was.
I did write every 5th check.
Isn't that scary?
The only new car that I'd ever bought, I had bought a brand new BMW 735.
Oh, beautiful.
Top of the line at the time. And I'd had it for 3 months. And my neighbor actually saw them leave with my car. And he was a funny guy because he goes, "Oh my God, I saw them leave and the car was packed with stuff." And he said, I waved. I thought it was you. I thought you were moving. He said, "I thought you were moving." He said, "I waved and they waved." And he was able to give me a description of the guy. He said, "It didn't look like you, but and they did like a year later find my car.
But they never really caught or prosecuted the...
No. It was a group of people that do those kind of things and then sell everything immediately, sell the numbers, the names, the social security numbers, all of that. It was quite the ordeal. It took me 3 years to get to where I wasn't getting some notification out of the blue.
Yeah. So again, my point with all of that fraud piece, just to bring it back together, don't get caught in that situation. Make sure you're managing your data. That is your data. You own it. And annualcreditreport.com can give you your free data. You have to pay for your score, right? And it'll port you that way to go get the score. But you get all your trade lines. Just keep an eye on that, especially now.
Well,
it's very important.
I think that's such a great point. And I think there's also a lot of vendors now, a lot of credit card companies, I know the ones that I use, provide you an alert every time there's an update or a new reporting on and it's like another valuable tool. Like whatever that update is, pay attention to it. Make sure it's something that you're aware of. Make sure it's So, and it can be something as little as a notification of a new account open. Like I know when we bought cars or like just sold a car or whatever, those things would populate through, and making sure it's tracking with what you expect. And anytime you get one that you're not expecting or aware of, there's a lot of those services within the existing accounts that you have that can do that as well. A lot of times you just have to sign up for it. Hey, provide, like, yes, I want the alerts on my credit or the free reporting in addition to that. And I think, to me, real-time reporting data is very valuable for me, just to make sure in that moment I want to respond immediately as soon as I'm alerted something's happening.
Right.
Right.
That's a really good resource to have, that annual credit report, just to look at that data. It's so important. Slow down, figure it out, right? And even with, like, I'll give you an example. Last month, I was going through our checking account, and there was constant Apple charges. And my husband is like, well, I love my music. I love my music. And so I'm always buying songs. I'm like, well, slow down on the songs, because it's adding up to hundreds of dollars, right? Lo and behold, it was fraud.
Oh, wow.
So I got I had to spend like an hour on the phone with it. I had $3.27 every day, $10.97 every day. I'm like, what is this? Well, honey, the kids have access to certain apps too, and you've signed them up for things with, college, little apps for them to correct their spelling and whatnot. And I'm like, slow down. I told myself, slow down, go weed through that, take a look at that data. And yeah, and it was all tied to my husband's debit card.
Well,
see? Debit cards.
But let's say,
evil.
Buzz,
Sorry.
hey,
Evil.
I'm going to lock it down, Buzz. Teach me how. We're going to the bank today.
We're going old school, buddy.
Yeah, it's just important. It's important that we do that, because times are changing.
Absolutely.
Times are changing. So,
Well, with times changing, and maybe this isn't the right place, but what do you see on the horizon for credit reports, cleaning up? What's the future look like?
well, hopefully it's going to be Vantage Score. And then, obviously FICO 10T, that's going to allow us to qualify more borrowers with newer technology behind those models. I think that's the future. Other than that, I don't, it's just a matter of things getting done. FHFA, making sure that we get what we need to get those borrowers in homes, and get those tools ready.
Yeah, the government got involved with the trigger leads. Do you think if these prices continue to go up, do you think that there's potential that there would be an administration that would want to get involved and mellow that out for a consumer? I
don't know. We had the CFPB.
Yeah.
Right. And that was
We did.
Yes. And that was the
They're
thing
still
that
there.
I know.
That was
Four
the
of
thing that
them.
we constantly would ask, like, isn't this all about the consumer? So it's hard to say. I'm not in government. I try to stay out of politics.
Sure.
But
yeah, that wasn't a political question. It was more of for the consumer,
For the consumer, yeah, because it weighs heavy on my heart. I feel bad for them, because it's my life every day.
Yeah.
Is people's credit scores
yeah.
and how to help. Now, I don't work so much with loan officers. Our help desk is really working with the loan officers. But, I hear it and I sense it from my customers. My role is to work more with, senior management and making sure your contracts are good and your pricing is good and all of that. But I still hear it all the time,
Yeah.
the heartache. So, I hope the government puts something in place that will help consumers in the long run, because it's just not stopping the cost.
Well, and on that front, as we're talking, what's the latest on the mortgage front? What's the update for the week? And tying that into the question you just asked Tracy.
Whoa! While I was away, Justin was able to get the government shutdown stopped and got the government back up and running.
No, you're welcome.
So
I made a call.
I appreciated that. The problem with the government shutdown, bond traders and securities dealers, they look at all types of data from the government. especially on employment and inflation and unemployment, that type of stuff. And so they haven't had that in 40 days. So now we're just starting to get trickle information. Like earlier this week, we got some employment data, but it was from September. Mm-hmm. And so we're just starting to get everything back up and rolling. And we had seen this slide over the last 30 days. Very slight, slow increases in interest rates. Just the uncertainty. And now this week, we've seen, as these reports start coming back and people start looking at what's going to happen in the December Fed meeting, we see that the rates have slightly turned around. And on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and this morning, we've seen slight improvements back in the rates. The big debate right now is really what is the Fed's going to do on their next meeting early December. I believe it's the 8th and 9th of December. Are they going to cut again? And it was almost assured that nope, they weren't going to cut in December. And so that was feeding into this slow deterioration of our rates. Now, just this morning, there's this argument in the Feds right now where some are saying we need to cut. Some are saying we don't. Now, this is really important because we really never had a Fed board that was not unified. And now we're starting to see that it's not unified. This is an important factor. We're at about 75% sure now that we may get a rate reduction at that next Fed meeting. So we've seen our interest rates kind of turn around in anticipation of that. So what do we got going on? That's really where we are. It's been a slow down, a slow up. We are running really fast into the holidays. Oh my gosh.
30 some odd days, man.
Next, Thursday, Friday is Thanksgiving, which is hard to believe. And we are like only 32 days or something like that away from Christmas
Day.
Gosh.
And so
scary.
we're heading into that time of the year. So we'll have to see. I do believe that I've been one of those that have been saying I do believe that they're going to hold interest rates steady in December. I will be really pleased if they lower them.
Yeah.
But I've just been looking at the data and looking at what they did last year. And so I'm going out on a limb right now and saying, I think they're going to hold.
I agree with you.
I think they're going to hold. There are 4 or 5 voting members that are saying we should lower, but there's still more that are on the side of, nope, let's hold.
Even with the latest news around all the different top companies that are doing the layoffs, like thousands.
Yeah, Verizon.
Amazon.
Verizon yesterday
just up,
said,
yeah.
what, 100,000? Was it? No, it couldn't be that much.
Not
Scary.
that many, but it was a big
It was
number.
a big number. But you're also seeing all these earnings, like yesterday in the chip business, NVIDIA.
Yeah.
They unbelievable
Yes.
amount of money. So a lot of strange stuff going on out there. Usually we don't see bonds and stocks going at the same direction. They're typically opposite, and they've been strange bedfellows lately. And so I think next week we'll see. I think we're going to have some problems as we get to the holiday. I almost always tell loan officers, lock what you got before we get to the holiday, because if I'm a bond trader, I like to take my money out on a long weekend, put it in something safe in case there's something that happens over the weekend, and then let's see it recover coming after the holiday. But that's been a typical trend over the last 40 years of long holidays. You usually see interest rates tick up right before, just because the traders are taking their money out.
Mm-hmm. Lock them if you got them.
Yeah.
Right. That's a really good point. Never thought of it that way from your side.
So next week we'll kind of see. We got only 3 days really. The market will be open on Friday. We won't. but the market will be open, but there won't be anything going on.
Yeah.
There won't be anything going on. And that, again, is a problem because if no one's buying and everybody's just, asleep at the wheel, that tends to not be good for the bond market. So.
Right. Well, everybody hang in there. We got this.
That's right. That's right. So as we head towards the end, any final thoughts or questions, Justin, for Tracy?
No, it was just a pleasure having you. What a fun conversation. And I love Scottsdale and Arizona.
Come visit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing right now. I absolutely love it. I'll say on this one last closing thing, there's this one place called the Fairmont.
Yeah.
In Scottsdale.
Oh, yeah.
You know that one?
I do.
So my dear friend Tiffany, who's lived out there longer than I, she brought us to the Fairmont. They go all out, and it's like Disneyland. I mean, the bars, the hot chocolate. They bring in what do they call them? The sleds, the snow sleds or whatever. Ice skating rinks. The lights everywhere. It's it's like Disneyland. It's like $50 to get in.
Oh wow, yeah.
But it is the best time in Scottsdale at Christmas.
So we just have one question for you: is during spring training?
Yeah.
How many rooms does your house have?
Yeah.
I've got plenty. Actually, I bought a house thinking my kids were going to live with me. Honest to God. And both of them, Talia's got a boyfriend now, and Dominic's like, I'm fine. He's living with 5 buddies out in Tempe.
Yeah.
And, they're not wanting to come home. So I'm like, why?
So there's plenty of room for the three of us
and waste
during spring
management's
training.
coming too. So waste management, the golf.
Yes.
That's a big deal out in Scottsdale.
That's true.
That is
And the Barrett Jackson, if you're a car.
Of a typical golf event.
Oh,
in the
Barrett
best
Jackson
way.
would be fun.
She's talking my language.
All right.
now.
Yeah, that's that.
So
you guys
I
got
want a front
room.
row seat on that par 3 hole where they go nuts every year.
Yeah. Yeah. I've already got my in on that. I had to put that in on one of my MI reps. I'm like, you're bringing me, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I got to be there this year. But yeah, it's a good time. It's crazy.
Well, good. What's the address again?
You always have somewhere to stay, Buzz. You know that.
Well, if you go,
It'll
you're
even
gonna
cook
have to.
for
We're
you.
gonna have to replace those shoes. I just realized the sole is coming off of those white shoes on the bottom now.
And we're gonna have to ask
do it
you
again.
to wear white shoes next time.
You don't want to wear my black boots?
I don't know what we're gonna do with you. You
But look like
must
Prince.
beat your
When
shoes up.
when I get tape on it, then we'll figure it out.
I'm going to ask Santa to bring you some shoes for Christmas.
And a soft serve.
Yeah, and
Yes.
soft serve
Soft
machine.
serve and-
Don't forget
and
the
some white
soft serve.
shoes.
I love it.
Love it. All right. Well, Tracy, thanks so much for being here today. Really enjoyed it.
very
And keeping credit interesting and relevant is certainly interesting, harder, relevant, a must. So enjoyed it. And as always, Buzz, Justin, thanks for being here. Thanks for getting out from behind the camera.
Yeah. It's
thanks
good
for
to see
having
you.
me. Thank you.
We always look forward to the holiday season coming up. So we're heading into the Thanksgiving week coming up next. So we will record next week around that. So we won't put it right on Thanksgiving. But to everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Phil Rasmussen. This has been another episode of the Blitz Break. And we hope you all have a great weekend and a great week.
Happy holidays.